The Two of Wands is all about putting our goals and our intentions into motion, putting our inspirations into concrete plans in order to make them manifest. And so it's taking ownership of your life and how you want your life to be and saying, right, I'm going to go in that direction and I'm actually going to make things happen rather than just thinking about them. Over on the Rider-Waite deck we can actually see that, so our character is clearly surveying the earth around them, and so they're measuring things up and looking at how they're going to plan this expedition through life, this journey through the actual universe. Over on the Tree of Life, the Two of Wands is associated with the second Sephiroth, which is Shokmar, and Shokmar means wisdom. And so if we're going to put those intentions into manifestation, we're going to build a house, we need to have the wisdom to know how to do so. We need to have the tools to know how to build them and how to actually put the tools to use. And so being in Shokmar here is suggesting that we have to apply wisdom to our physical lives. We have to actually learn what it is that we want to manifest. We have to know something about who we want to be. It's no good just being abstract, and that's why in a lot of law of attraction style readings they will say that you have to have a concrete goal in mind. You have to know exactly how much you want to make or what type of life you want to live, essentially. And so here on the Thoth Tarot Two of Wands card, moving on from the Ace of Wands, of course, we have the symbolism of two wands on this card, as we would, and they are shaped as Dorje Purbas, which are Tibetan ritual symbols. The actual symbol is that of a thunderbolt or a lightning bolt, which is a symbol that we saw over on the Ace of Wands for that spark of inspiration that comes into our mind. And so here we're moving on from the spark and actually making it concrete. And so the Dorje or the Purba is all about removing obstacles and cutting through limitation. It's said that even owning one of these Purbas in real life can actually help you to remove obstacles in your life. It's a spiritual obstacles, of course. They are often planted down into the ground, which is another type of fertile symbol, suggesting a purification of the ground beneath them, and therefore a sanctifying of that area, turning it into a ritual space. So to remove obstacles is to have a bit of an awakening, really. And so it's suggesting here that our inspiration has come into our mind and it's given us a bit of an awakening. It's cracked open the eggshell of which was holding inside it who we were and who we wanted to be in that regards. And so that's why we have these heads on the Dorje. The heads are Tibetan symbols yet again, and they show change when that force is put into action. So nothing is without change, everything's moving all the time. Like I've said in my videos before, you know, even a dead body is moving in its coffin, because otherwise it wouldn't turn into dust. Everything is in motion, nothing is still. And so when we put that force into action, so we've broken that egg open and we've said, right, this is who I want to be, things change and our face changes, metaphorically, because we are becoming the image of our manifestation. So the different changing faces here are the different faces of change in the universe when intention is put into action. And we can also see on the bottom of the Dorjes, near the actual arrowheads here, serpentine symbols. And it's a very powerful image, of course, serpentine symbols. And here they are connecting back to what we've just been speaking about. They're about renewal, the snake shedding its skin and becoming new again, born again. And so therefore they're representing another type of change. Now, because they're very close to the actual arrowheads, they're representing a change occurring as a direct result of that force. So again, if we imagine the Purba or the Dorje being planted into the ground to say, I own this ground, I'm going to make this ground change, there would be a ripple of energy which would emanate from that, and that exact ripple of energy is causing the snakes to shed their skin and to change. Now, this idea of using a force to create change can sound almost like a violent force in some way, but it most certainly doesn't need to be. It can be any type of force which inspires inside us the desire to manifest our will. And so, for example, we could use the force of love. This is a very powerful force which could change the entire world. And so, in fact, many of the greatest manifestations have the driving force of love behind them. So whatever force it is, it has to inspire us, because if we're not inspired, it's not going to get those wheels in motion, and we're going to be stuck on the previous card, which is just inspirations and thoughts. And we have to put thoughts into things, and so we have to use a force to get change to occur. Now, behind the dorjes and the symbols, we can see 6 emanating flames in the centre of the card. So back on the Tree of Life, 6 is the 6th Sephiroth, which is Tifereth, which is ruled by the sun. Now, it's going to become quite astrological at this stage, so we can see that the 2 of Wands is ruled by Aries. And we also know that Aries is ruled by Mars, which we can also see on the sign, so we have that wonderful influence there. So what it's really saying with all of these joined together, Tifereth, Aries and Mars, is that there is that influence of both the sun and the Aries astrology sign. As the heart and soul of this card, it has an Aryan energy to it. And so what does that mean? Well, it means basically what we would see in Aries in astrology, and so it's like the rational thought which is going to be needed to build that house or to make things actually work and to understand them laterally. It's about going out into the world and acting upon our thoughts, upon getting those wheels in motion and essentially getting the job done, that type of thing. So this is a really practical card showing through here, and that's what we can actually see in the background as well. You've got in the background this kind of spotty image of pink and blue, and the blue here essentially is the sky. It's like the clear sky, which represents the visible world, so things that we can see, clarity. The clouds have cleared, we can actually see what's going on around us. And so what that's suggesting is that after we've put that force into action, whatever it may be, we've gone out into the world and we've acted upon our thoughts, we break through the clouds. So the clouds could be the limitations that the Purba has removed, and suddenly we can see. And so that's what it's showing. It's showing a type of haziness being removed by the definitiveness of our action. And so Shokmar, of course, is that force, like we said, and we also have the balance of Aries and Mars, creativity from the sun, daylight, visibility, action. So it's very practical, this card, and if you pick it up in your reading, that could be what it's saying, that you really need to get down and dirty with the work type of thing, and put the effort in to make things change, or as we've seen, really start to make concrete plans for what it is that you want to be manifesting, which can mean stepping out of where we feel comfortable and going into the unknown in some regards. And yet, really what we should be taking from this is that when we step into that unknown, we're not walking into darkness, we're not walking without any type of guide at all, because we're taking inspired action. We're moving forward with concrete plans of which we've made, and we have to step forth with that faith that somehow we're going to put those things together, and those inspired forces of which we've put out into the universe really will start to manifest.